Right, another game that's kicking off at 2 o'clock. I think there's quite a few of them kicking off at 2 o'clock, so I'm guessing they're on Amazon Prime. So the next game I'm going to preview is Everton at home to Wolves. Let's start with the home team, Everton. Now, Everton, you know, growing up as a kid until an adult, I've always had a little bit of admiration for Everton. You know, they've always been, they're very similar to West Ham in the fact it's a working man's club. They were successful, you know, before I was ever born. They're a traditional club. They've always, you know, turned it up at Goodison. You know, especially in the years of David Moyes, I used to like Everton. I used to think, okay, they never always had the best players in the league, but they made the best out of the resource that they've got. You know, but I think with this new owner that they've brought in, they've tried to pump in loads of money and just totally forgotten about the fact that it's a working man's club. You know, you look at West Ham, for instance. West Ham have spent quite a lot of money, but they don't forget the ethics of hard work and players like that. So they've got a lot of players like your Jared Bowens, your Miguel Antonios, Fornals. These are players that are good players, but they've worked their socks off, and you know, there's an ethos there. So that's the reason why they've done well this season. Whereas it's like the owners of Everton have forgotten about that, and they're just trying to bring in all these players. But there's no plan. We don't know what they want to do. I remember a couple of seasons ago, they must have spent about 200 million and had about 5 number 10s, and they already had Gylfi Sigurdsson who was playing well. So I just think there's no planning, and I do feel for the Everton fans, you know, because it's bad enough that you're across Stanley Park, you've got your neighbours that are going on and winning everything, but I don't think as Everton fans they're too bothered as long as their club is competing properly. Now this is the worst Everton I've ever seen, and I'm sure a lot of other people can agree with me. You know, Goodison Park was a place where, you know, as a Spurs fan, it doesn't matter what fan you are. When you go to Goodison Park and you've got the noise and all that stuff, you just don't want to go there, especially whether you're on good form or bad form, because you know that Everton are going to bring it to you. You know, before everyone seems to think that the Klopps and the Guardiolas are the ones that brought pressing football to the Premier League, but you know. Everybody says that when you used to go to places like Goodison and Old Trafford back in the heyday before these managers, you used to feel that they were on top of you. So there was a form of press in that, and Goodison Park was always the place we got that from. But now it just feels like they're losing at a whim. You know, the performance against Spurs, it's like I just couldn't believe what I was watching. You know, Tottenham, we could have won that 10-0 if we really wanted to, and we weren't even playing well. You know, Carragher's right in the fact that that back four with key players missing is a championship defence. You know, Seamus Coleman isn't getting the help that he needs. You know, he's still a good right back even though he's getting old, but when he's got Mason Holgate in there who doesn't really care about his position, doesn't really care about what's going on, he was getting pulled from pillar to post. You know, it's not looking great for Everton, and I do feel sorry for him, but then at the same time, it's weird because you don't think they're going to go down because they're such a big club, but then we all saw what happened with Leeds. So, you know, I think Everton, if they're going to go and get a result this weekend, they need to have the Everton that turned up against Man City, because realistically they were robbed of, you know, at least the opportunity to draw the game because that was a penalty, and Man City were put to the sword in that game. So I think Everton played very well, but then, like Frank Lampard said, you can't go and do that against Man City and then turn up against Spurs and become a different, you know, completely different outfit with the same players. So it's a bit of Jekyll and Hyde with Everton, more so, you know, badness rather than good. So they're going to have to really turn up at home to a team that, you know, 3 weeks ago I was pushing for saying that they were going to get top four because they pulled off 2 great results against top 4 rivals in Man United and Tottenham. Well, I generally thought, right, that's it. But then they went and played the other 2, which were West Ham and Arsenal, and lost them both, and found themselves in a bit of a rut. So, you know, Wolves will be happy with the top 8 finish. You know, I think they'll get that. And they had a good result against Watford, you know, smashing them 4-0. But they'll be looking into this game thinking, okay, we're not going to get top 4, but, you know, Wolves for progress is top 6. They've done it before and had a good run in Europe. And some of their players are starting to come to the fore now. And I've always liked Daniel Podence. I remember him playing for Olympiacos against Spurs, and I think he's in the Champions League. And he was brilliant, you know, both games that we played him in. and he's come to Wolves. Took a little bit of time to find his feet, but he's now scoring goals and setting goals up as well. So it's going to be a very tricky game for Everton because Wolves have, I think they've got the best defence bar Man City in the league. So then you're not going to find it easy to score against Wolves. And I just don't think the Goodison Park factor is there anymore for Everton because as much as that used to help them, I don't think it's galvanising the sort of players that they've got. I think a lot of these players don't understand what it is to play for Everton. So I'm going to be kind because most people would think that Everton are going to keep winning, but I don't think they're going to keep losing. Sorry. So I think this is going to be a 1-1. And if I'm going to go with a goal scorer or something to happen in the game, I think Daniel Podence will turn up and cause all sorts of problems, and I think he'll get another goal and continue, his scoring run from midweek. But Everton really need to step the game up. I think all Frank Lampard would ask for is effort, and if he gets that from the players as a coach, that will relay to the fans, and those fans there are always a 12th man, and if they can at least not lose the game, they can start building a bit of momentum, because if they build momentum in the next few weeks, by then your Burnleys might have picked some up and you find yourself in the bottom three.